We're going to a Leeds fan, a Leeds, first on the show. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Sidek, founder of the Leeds Utd Sports Club Malaysia. Growing up as a Leeds Utd fan, I've always admired Nigel Martyn and Paul Robinson because I love playing as a goalkeeper myself. I guess that's about it. Marching on together, lads!
How are you? Paul, nice to meet you. How are you, okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Sorry we're a bit late, it's been a long day.
No, it's okay.
We got stuck in traffic, Malaysian traffic.
Yeah, oh yeah.
This is where you come?
Yeah, I live nearby.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So this... You know, it's nice. It tastes like, you know what I have in New York, like cereal. It tastes like cornflakes. You know what cornflakes are?
You're the first Leeds fan to be on the show.
Okay, thank you.
It's not easy to find. Pretty sure there's a community here. I know you've got a lot of questions to ask Paul. You can just hit it off.
Yeah, sure. Paul, I have one question about during your time at Leeds.
Yeah.
During the transition in between 02 and 03, when Terry Venables took over,
Yeah.
he fielded you over Nigel Martyn, right?
Yeah.
So how was that from your side? I mean, was there any dilemmas from your side, or was that affect your relationship with Nigel?
No, do you know what? He was brilliant with me at the
yeah.
time. I think the time came, it was a pre-season tour. He'd been away with the England squad in the summer. He didn't play, but he was away with the squad in the summer. He'd had a lot of time away from his family in the summer. And I was pushing and pushing to play. And we went on a far east tour to Australia. And it was a long tour, and he felt he'd had enough time away from his family. So he decided to tell the manager that he didn't want to go on the tour. And the manager said, look, I want you to come on the tour. And he said, no, I'm not going. So the manager said, okay, it puts your place at risk. Obviously I came in, I did very, very well. And at that time he told me that I was going to play, I was going to be in the team. And my relationship with Nigel, he's a fantastic man, Nigel, a really fantastic man. I was with him at the Leeds game last weekend, so we're still good friends. And he was like my mentor. When I first went to the club, I used to clean his boots. So I started off cleaning his boots to then taking his job. And he was a brilliant mentor for me. And even when I took his position, he was there, he was helping me, advising me, and he was a genuinely nice guy, a good guy.
What about the style of management between David O'Leary and Terry Venables? Was there any major difference?
Yeah, there was major differences. Terry Venables he'd come with a great reputation from his history.
Yeah.
David O'Leary was very much a young manager making his way in the game.
Yeah.
And the team that we had at the time, we kind of just rolled with it. There was no specific we had the same formation every week. If the same 11 were fit, they would play in the same positions. Whereas Terry Venables came in, it was more of a troubleshooting role. And at times, I could see he was a very, very intelligent manager, and he was trying to maybe implement some things into the team, and the team weren't able to carry out what he wanted them to do because the ability wasn't in the team that he had. He was better than the team, if you like. He was a very, very good manager and a very good man manager as well.
Do you reckon the fact that David O'Leary had a proper fit at that point in comparison to Terry Venables, that's why you guys had that success?
Yeah, well, it was the right man at the right time. He had a great bunch of players, a great bunch of young players, and everything just clicked at the right time.
So you reckon that Terry Venables would have not done the same job?
Terry Venables would have possibly, I think, a lot of managers could have done the same. No disrespect to David O'Leary, but with that group of players and at that time, the hunger of the players and the ability of the players, it was a great time to be at Leeds United. When Terry Venables came, Leeds United were on the slide. It wasn't a team that was on the up. He was there. I don't think he even knew the extent of the problems at the time. He came in to stop the rot, if you like, and sort a team out that looked to be sliding without knowing the full financial difficulties that he was actually walking into.
And Sidek, as a fan, I mean, you watched Leeds from the heydays, you know, exceeding. As a fan, you must have been jumping, seeing Paul and his teammates make it to the semi-finals of the Champions League, and then watch them go down to the Championship. Did you ever saw that coming at any point during the stage when they were at heydays? Because I asked him the same question.
No, absolutely not. Because after the success with the Champions League and all, we just start going downwards. Yeah, start down until League One.
And from a fan's perspective, what was the main reason that you read or whatever? What was the main reason that Leeds went into such a difficult time?
I think it was the top management, basically. The chairman, the board, well, how they handle the financial, it was just, I don't know, it was just horrible at the time. Because as a fan, I was completely let down. You know, so.
And you didn't know, you didn't see it coming. I talked to you, as players, you didn't see it coming. Where we were kept in the dark as much as the fans were. You read about it in the press, and the more and more, the longer time went, the more came out and the more you got to find out about. The club was financed on us winning the Champions League and qualifying for the Champions League. As I said to you earlier, if we'd have won the Champions League and qualified for it the season after, or not necessarily won the Champions League, but qualified through the league the year after, that would have been a softening blow. The finances would still have been okay on a level to continue, and we'd have got in the Champions League the year after. But the difference was the big Champions League semi-final, no Champions League at all, and that was the start of the fall. The club couldn't afford to keep up with the payments that they'd committed to.
And you've been catching games, Leeds streaming and so on, right?
Yeah, live streaming.
Do you reckon the current Leeds team could make it back into the Premier League?
Yeah, with the right man. I think Thomas Richardson right now is obviously doing quite a good job. I think after Gary Monk, I think he's the right person, but there's still a bit of inconsistency between the players right now, right?
Yeah, so they started very well. This season started very, very well. And I think it was maybe a little bit of false hope. The last 5 games, they've not performed well, other than one this weekend, 5 before that. I've seen them twice this year. Once at home to Ipswich, where they won, and then recently at home, where they lost to Reading. And the performances were like night and day. The performance against Ipswich was a great performance, scoring goals. Reading, they looked like a team who'd lost for no confidence. There's a fine line. They can't go from mid-championship to top of the championship straight away. There looks to be a transition period. The people who bought the club this year, fantastic. First thing they've done is bought the stadium. All the other people that have come to the club have said, oh, we'll buy the stadium, have never done it. These owners have bought the stadium. They've made changes in the stadium, the dressing rooms, the boxes, the hospitality. The club is going the right direction. The team now look like they are following that. And the expectations about there's 35,000 there every week now.
And as a fan, I mean, a diehard fan, I know you've been through a lot from having such good days, and then it's been a long time since you saw them in the Premier League. What is your mere expectations for the near future for Leeds?
Well, of course, the EPL, and of course to stay in the EPL and gather as much as fans back here in Malaysia, because we're a bit lonely down here.
Not many. The Premier League's lonely without Leeds. People say about big clubs and so-called sleeping giants. Leeds is a huge club. Last weekend, when I went to the game against Reading at home, they had an attendance greater than 4 or 5 Premier League teams. Their attendance is phenomenal. The support is there. The basis for a club that needs to be in the Premier League, and the Premier League needs Leeds. And
will we someday see Paul Robinson at the club? At any
I'm at the club. I'm working with the owners quite closely. I'm going back there, and to games and things. But it's a club that's very close to my heart. It's somewhere that I live close to. My son's a fan. My son's 9. He's a Leeds fan. So he wants to go to as many games as we can. And anything that I can do for Leeds United, I will, of course.
Right. Thank you, Sidek. Thank you very much. Brilliant stuff.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure having to meet Paul Robinson just now, and he's been my childhood hero ever since I supported Leeds. And thank you for having me on the show, and I hope that you guys have a long as possible show to this.
So Paul, we were done with Sidek. You could see that he had that little passion in him, and when he was explaining about Leeds going down from where they were in the Champions League with your side, you could see that almost he was tearing at some point. That's how passionate he was, isn't it?
Leeds fans are very passionate, very, very passionate, and they've been through some tough times, and you can see that he's experienced all the tough times, but he's stuck with his team, which is the most important thing. He loves Leeds. Leeds supporters are very, very passionate people. And for him to stream the games, to go to the lengths that he does to watch the games, it's really nice to see.
And he exactly knew about the past, he knew the history, and he even knows what's going on right now. It shows that he's
very informed, very intellectual, very knowledgeable about the club.
And he's hoping that they make the Premier League soon.
Me too. It's a club that lead the Premier League, and the Premier League needs Leeds United.
And you did mention that you might be at the club.
Oh, no!
In a very specific role?
No, nothing. I would always help the club whenever I can.
All right. And you've met Andrew, obviously Spurs guy, having that Spurs bar as well, and then we met Shafiq, Man United. How's your experience with three of the fans?
It's been brilliant. It's been really refreshing to speak to such intense, knowledgeable people, people who really care about their club and have a real burning desire for their club, but can also speak to on a level of football and actually understand the game. And the fans have real knowledge and insight, and it's interesting to hear what their views and their opinions.
And then just coming back to I mean, you've only been here about what, 24 to 48 hours now, right? Just walking into 48 hours. Are you taken aback? Are you surprised with how big Premier League is around?
I've thoroughly enjoyed every part of being here. To see how big the Premier League is, to see how well supported it is, to see how passionate the fans are and how much they care about their own individual clubs and the Premier League as a brand as well. Everybody's been so warm and welcoming, and I've enjoyed the whole part of my day today. It's been brilliant.
Guys, that was Paul Robinson. If you want to be like Andrew, Shafiq or Sidek, send in your videos and you might be just like them on Man on the Street.